So Katie is a great friend of mine, and she has got a business called Kudosity, which is all about helping people develop their confidence, be happier, and yes, develop their Kudosity. So she volunteered to have a little chat with us, because we're all experiencing very strange times at the moment. So Katie, over to you.
Well, yes, we are good friends, and I thought that we were just in need of a bit of lightness rather than going in with some formal structure about what we really need to do, when in fact everybody is just feeling a bit wiggy at the moment. I don't know if wiggy is a technical term, but whatever. It is very, very strange times. So I wanted to come on and say hi to you and to the SheClicks community, and to just bring it up a little bit and just be a bit more present for everyone, and talk about some of the things that I've been using, or some of the suggestions that I've kind of put to other friends to help them through this period where it's just a bit bonkers and everybody's feeling like their feet are in quicksand. So we talked about, at the moment, things feel really out of control. So there are so many things that we would normally take for granted, like going into work, or being at work, or having a portfolio of work to work on, or even things like the photography show. We had all these things in place that are now up in the air, and we don't really know what's happening from one day to another. So my first kind of point, if you like, was to try and focus on some of the things that you can control. So I can't control that Sainsbury's might not have any eggs. I'll just not have eggs this week. You know, it's about trying to move away from, okay, let's stop freaking out about the stuff that we can't control. And I now want to take those elements back into my life. So for me, it was about sitting down at my desk at 9 o'clock and going through 3 things of my to-do list that were going to be achievable, that weren't going to take massive amounts of time, but that I knew that I could get to the end of the day and feel like I've actually accomplished something. Now, where I am today versus where I was on Monday, here's a big jolt of, it's a big difference. What I found on Monday was, because there was so the big news, if you like, and it started to roll out, I realised that I was massively distracted all day. But I looked at what I wanted to get done, and then I'd start to beat myself up. I was like, why can't I just focus? Why can't I just get on with this, press release or whatever it is? And the reason was because there was just too much noise going on, and it wasn't your normal kind of, so I was just talking about distraction and how easily it is now that we get distracted by the latest update, whether that's about schools closing or toilet roll shortage or something. And today I've noticed my behaviour to be completely different to how it was on Monday. Monday, there was just so much news going on, and I accomplished nothing because I was all about that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ever get to further along in the week to feeling like I'd not achieved anything. So I cut down on the social media. I limited the amount of news that I watched. Probably I'll get the news first thing in the morning, and then the update in the evening. But if through the tasks that I was doing, if I felt myself being pulled away by something, maybe something that my husband said or something that I heard in the background on the radio, rather than try and have my head split into 2 places, I then finished off that task, and then I listened to the radio or listened to the news or whatever it was, rather than just trying to be in 2 places, because you're never really there in either of those. And it feels horrible. It just feels that you're being really pulled. And this is completely bonkers times. This isn't something that any of us have experienced before. So we should just sometimes cut ourselves a bit of slack and go with the flow. But certainly limiting news consumption, limiting social media is really, really beneficial to where your head is.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of distraction management. Thinking about it from a more creative process, and what could people do in the comfort of their own home, you know, or without having to worry about kind of the social interaction so much. And almost like a photo diary, the Corona Chronicles, which sounds like a rip bodice kind of, you know, romp, but it's not. Now, for a lot of people, it could open up a real opportunity to be really creative within their own home, but it could also be a photographic documentary of where they are in their heads. You know, raw photographers is open to interpretation, but by channeling your creativity into a project, it suddenly feels different to what's going on around you. You're able to channel it in a creative way. So I don't know if people are thinking about doing any sort of photography diaries while this is going on, or if there is a way in which they can sort of channel their creativity. It might be something.
Well, we had a post on SheClicks a while ago where people were talking about some of the projects they're working on, and some of them were photographic, some of them was DIY, and some was gardening. That's all fine. Yeah. Sally Hedges has been encouraging us to post a photograph a day, and so from today I've been pinning that at the top of the feed so that people can. So Sally will post a picture, and then she's encouraging everybody else to just take a picture throughout their day and post it as a comment.
Yeah.
So. Naturally, I've posted a picture of Otto, my little dog, and I used my phone. You know, you can use your camera, you can use your phone, but just, you know, if everyone gets on board with taking a photo a day, just in your own home or wherever, if you do get to go out, then I think it, you know, gives people an idea of what's going on, what other people are up to.
Yeah, I mean,
links.
A global community is a really interesting snapshot of, you know, a day-to-day, like you say, you know, what's morning like here versus morning in Italy, and what's, you know, things that are going on. So it's just a nice creative outlet.
Yeah.
The next thing, which I love, is creating a Spotify playlist, because sometimes you just need to whack on your favourite tunes to get you through the day, to lift you up. And we should perhaps look at creating a SheClicks Spotify playlist, so that people can share some of their favourite tunes. And just, you know, music is a great way to just buoy yourself up. Yesterday I had to have a good talk to myself because I was feeling a bit like, whew, this is all getting a bit much. Put on some really loud music, and it totally shifted where I was headspace wise. So Spotify's great. Also, Netflix or similar, creating a list on there. Steel Magnolias is on.
My goodness, that's getting on a bit.
I know. Strangely, Dolly Parton doesn't look that much different. A few bulldog clips. But it's just, again, it's a creative way to think, okay, when I finish work, or when I finish a project, or when I get to the end of the day, that bit is your downtime, whether that's the film or SheClicks or whatever. Sharing good news, I think, is really important. So there are so many other news stories around, and there are a lot of people doing some really amazing stuff for others. So just amplifying any good news stories that you can find, I think, is a really lovely way of buoying a community up. Then we were talking earlier about, although travel is kind of off the table at the moment, it won't be forever. Don't know how long it will be, but it won't be forever. So many people have had to cancel travel plans. What I like to do is almost create like a Pinterest board, for want of another word, but a planner journey for the future, a photographic journey, and really visualize and plan out what that will look like, where you want to shoot, what you want to shoot, because it takes you away from the present day and puts you in a position to know that better things are coming. And it just gives you that, you know, that escapism. But it's all based around photography and travel, and that could be, doesn't have to be travel abroad, it can be anywhere that you want to go, because it is essentially your imagination.
Yeah. Well, we heard yesterday that the National Trust is opening up its grounds. Its properties are going to be closed and its cafes are going to be closed. So no Victoria Sponge, but it's opening the grounds, and it's opening them for free, which is really nice. And, you know, as a National Trust member, I'm really happy that they're doing that, because it'd be great to see more people being able to get out there. And of course, that means that you could look up the National Trust properties in your area, decide which ones you want to go to, look at the photographic opportunities, and you could actually go to them.
Yes, absolutely. And the National Trust app is brilliant.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic app that they've got, so you can see whereabouts the places are in relation to where you are, so how long it'll take you to get there, etc. But National Trust, what an organisation to, you know, to keep supporting. And it's that moving away from where you are now, knowing that there is space, knowing that you're not just confined to either being in your living room, whatever it is, there is an opportunity to get some fresh air, some creativity, and to just be in a different space. I think that's so motivating.
Yeah. And I guess even if you feel like you can't go out now, you can plan where you're going to go to the National Trust at a later date, and then you can go and say to somebody who's working there, what a great idea that was. Even though you couldn't go, at least you've got that kind of, you know, because they'll love to get the positive message at some point.
And, you know, taking photos of them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they would love that. I'm sure that they would just love to be able to have, you know, themselves tagged, to feel like they're being supported back in the community as well, and for the jobs that they're doing. So that's great. Then thought about how to expand or test your creative or work horizons. Things like Zoom, or doing a webinar. I remember the first time I was having a go at video, and it was, you know, really daunting, because I felt that I had this, you know, small audience or whatever. So while you've got some time, and we always used pre this, everybody was like, oh, I'm a bit time starved, can't do this, can't do the other. Now we've got more time and have that to our benefit. It's worth looking and having a go on things like doing a webinar, or doing a piece to camera about video, about just testing all of these things while you're able to do it. And it might not be that you want to do a video tutorial about photography. It might be something that you want to show, baking a cake, whatever. Just test all those new things that are around you that you do have time to do now more of, and have a go, because, you know, take that pressure off. This is about lifting the pressure that people are feeling at the moment, and just going, do you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, give it a go.
And then the other suggestion that I had was, because the SheClicks community is so supportive, I thought it might be an idea if, I don't know quite how it would work, but maybe small groups supported each other and looked at kind of their photography websites, so their respective business or photography websites, and collaborated and said, maybe, you know, can you have a look at my website? New fresh pair of eyes. Can you think of 5 things that you would either recommend or slightly tweak or feel that's missing? And suddenly you've got the whole marketing resource of SheClicks together, and everybody's supporting each other. It brings in that feeling of community. And I know that whenever I've stopped and suddenly thought, oh, I need to look at my own website, you suddenly realise, crikey, it actually doesn't say what we do. But having some fresh eyes onto your own business and your own photography websites and stuff, with the help of a supportive community, is quite a nice idea for people just to get together, to engage on a different level, and to just to get some feedback.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And of course, other people could perhaps join together to create a group website, you know, between them. Say 5 people get together and one person doesn't want to do a website by themselves, but they could group together and then everybody could have their own gallery page or something like that.
That's a great idea. Pooling of resources.
Yeah.
You know, rather than, I think that's the thing now with all of this going on, it's such a leveler. I remember when I first started, I thought, gosh, there was all these people that were doing similar, and they were all way up here, and I didn't have the right website, and I didn't have the resources. Blah, blah, blah. Now everybody's in the same, you know, everybody's business is going to be facing hard times or challenging times. So if we could all collectively pull together, then you don't feel so alone, you don't feel so isolated, and you feel like you're part of a community, and that's so important, I think, not just while this goes on, but especially now.
Yeah, agree. And it's a good time to start sort of, it's, you know, talking about collaborating and remembering that actually working in the same space as someone doesn't mean you have to be competitors. You can collaborate, you can help each other. You know, say if you're a wedding photographer and you always shoot in color, and a client comes to you and says, oh, I would like my wedding shot in black and white. You say, well, I don't do that. I know somebody who does. So when it happens, you know, when they get someone who wants a color wedding, you get referred.
Yeah.
You help each other out.
Absolutely. I think it is never been before a place where everybody is feeling, right, we really need to support each other, you know. Yeah. So let's do more of it, and let's you know, rather than, the worst thing is doing nothing in this situation, because when you don't have when you don't move forward, all you do is then look at social media and you look at the news and you bounce from one kind of to another. And productivity, moving forward, you feel that you're achieving things. You feel like at the end of the day, you can just put your laptop down, you've achieved something. Really, really important.
Yeah. And enthusiast photographers, not necessarily professional photographers, I mean, they play a really great role in documenting things, events, the positive sides as well as the negative sides. I think it does make you feel better if you can focus on the positive sides, but also reminding people how important photography is. And that helps professional photographers, because then somebody's thinking about an event or something. Oh yeah, it's really important to get some photography done.
Absolutely. And the again, is kind of the prints as well, so it's the documenting it, you know, in camera, and then being able to have the prints to be able to think about what will happen at an exhibition, or when you do a next photo talk. Think about it as things moving forward, as things happening in the future, because like this is, you know, we don't know what's happening really, but it won't be like this forever. Tomorrow will be a different day in terms of news from what will be here. So always be thinking, what can I shoot? What can I print? Where will I put this on my website? What can I talk about at the photo club? What can I talk about when I put this body of work together and share it with SheClicks? Be thinking future, future, future.
Okay. Good advice, I think.
My last bit is always make sure that you've got ice in the freezer. Always.
And a lime.
These are the real serious burning questions. Ice in the freezer, tea in the tea caddy, coffee, if you like. And, you know, it's a really strange time, but it won't always be like this.